Hello everyone and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 8 Wildcard Team Reveal live stream with me, Holly Shand. Really excited to bring you this one today because there's lots to discuss ahead of blank Gameweek 8 with those 7 fixtures in the postponements with the news of the sad passing of the Queen. This is obviously my first live stream for a fortnight because last week we got news quite close to the stream time that the Premier League games weren't going to go ahead. So that triggered the wild card for me. I was thinking of playing it this week anyway, but obviously add 3 postponements into the mix has made it a time for me to wildcard. So obviously going to be looking at my wildcard team reveal today, which is really exciting. Hopefully the press conferences are kind to me. I'm also going to be doing a Q&A and answering lots of your guys' questions. Also, the captain poll is up for you to vote in. I'll be going through my top 3 captain picks for this week and obviously showing you in my team who I'm going to be going with. And please remember, the deadline is on Friday today at 6:30, I believe. Yeah, 6:30 UK time. Do not miss it. It's not a Saturday deadline, it's a Friday deadline. I think it's the first Friday deadline we've had since game week 1, if I remember rightly. So, certainly going to be a big one. If you are here, don't forget to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for 14,000 subs, by the way, this week. That's just been phenomenal support. And say hello in the chat. I'm going to hop over to the chat in just a minute to see who is in and have a look at some of the early questions that you've got before we start looking at my wildcard. So please do come and say hello. It'll be great to talk to you for as many people as possible today. And as always, the stream is powered by Fantasy Football Hub and you can still get 30% off, but that win your mini league or your money back offer is on as well. So quite a few of you in already, so please do say hello. I'm going to go through the chat now. Misha is in. Hi. On a wildcard this week, good luck. Niraj is in as well. FPL Gazman, good afternoon. Siddharth is in. Hey, Niraj as well, afternoon. Pirakesh, thanks for joining. Rubber Ducky is in as well as Random Junkie, Gary, and Shamindin. Sorry if I've butchered any of those pronunciations there. So first thing I'm going to do then is show you my wildcard team as things stand. It's been a bit of a mad morning for me. I'm going away later today on holiday. Part of the motivation to play the wildcard this week is that I can kind of have a bit more of a break in the international break. So I've not been on top of any of the press conferences so far today. I still need to sit down and have another little tinker. I've still got 3 premiums in mind, but at the moment I am on 2 premiums, so this is it. Be kind to me, guys. I've not spent loads of time on this wildcard, I'll be honest. Obviously we only got the news on Monday. I'd built a wildcard team before we got the news of the postponements on Monday and made a few adjustments from there, but it was kind of more of a sense check to see whether it was sensible as part of my strategy to wildcard this week. But I've got that double Newcastle defence in Pope and Trippier. I've got Cancelo, Haaland and De Bruyne triple up on Manchester City assets. I've also got a double up on the Forest attack for this week with Zaha on the bench. Tony and Martinelli are in for their clash as well. Perisic, this is the point at the moment. You'll see I actually downgraded Ward to Iverson to save the 0.1. I have actually got the funds. Oh no, what have I clicked on there? I bet it's logged me out now as well. I'm going to be fuming if it has. This is so annoying because now I've got the 2-factor authentication on, so I've got to go through that as well. Sorry about this, guys, but good promotion for having a good account security. What did I click on that logged me out? I don't know. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, so I have got the funds to go from Perisic to James. Whether I do that this week or not, I don't know. It would mean playing Emerson away at Everton. My husband's downstairs just decided to do the hoovering. Typical. So that's probably the most contentious spot in my wildcard team at the moment. So do let me know in the chat what you think to it. I think there's a few more people that I haven't said hello to either. So thank you everyone for joining. Mehdi is in, I say Niraj, FPL Harry, hi, thanks for joining Harry. Kevin is in as well. United Gaio is in as well. So this is where I'm at with the wild card. Random Junkies just said, that's my team, but I've got James over Perisic and Fofana over Williams. Honestly, my team value, if it's 100.2, that's all it is. It's shocking. I mean, if I just reset this, the thing that's bugging me is that the players that I'm not that bothered about are Tony, Zaha and Maddison. It's like Zaha and Maddison, I'm just spending the funds. Should I spend the funds on Zaha and Maddison? Or should I leave some funds in the bank to make it easier for me to get back to Liverpool assets? That's something to think about. Or I go Kane. But if the problem is if I go Kane, then I'm going to have to play one of Bailey, Williams, Emerson or Andreas each week. My other argument was that I'd have to play Emerson in game week 12, but I kind of going to need to do that anyway, really. And then I've got 6.7 million to spend on essentially my third midfielder. And I don't really know who to get. I've seen people go in with like St. Maximan, he's injured, Rashford's injured, Gordon. It's just not exciting, is it? Especially because Everton have been so poor defensively and Pickford's obviously out as well. So it just doesn't excite me. And I know that I'm backing myself into a corner if I go with 3 premiums, which is kind of why I want to go with the 2 premiums at the moment. So, but then on the other hand, I've bought Zaha and Maddison that I'm not that bothered about. Maddison's faces Spurs this week. Zaha doesn't have a fixture. I've seen a lot of people saying they're going to go Zaha game week 10. I don't see it's a problem starting him against Chelsea because Chelsea haven't been that great defensively. Maybe a new manager bounce, but, it's going to take time to gel. And, Zaha loves playing against the big 6 anyway. So that's where the wild card is at the moment. A little bit of uncertainty, but to be honest with you, I'm probably going to run out of time to, make major changes from here. So I kind of, when I'm on a wild card, I don't know if this is the same for anyone else, but I kind of don't like to do anything too radical, too close to the deadline. So I think, it could easily stay as it is now. Is more likely to stay as it is now than me to do anything else with it at the moment. But do let me know in the chat what you think of my wildcard team, any questions you've got for this week, whether that be because you're on wildcard or not. That would be really good to know. And if you are here, I think there's around 90 of you in at the moment. Don't forget to like the video as well. It really helps me to grow the channel. So I am going to go through some questions now because some of you are here very early and I really do appreciate that. And I want to get through as many of these as possible. So Mika said that it was on a wild card. Niraj is on the wild card potentially as well. And he's asking Son or Kane. Now for me, I think this is an easy one. Kane has the form. Son is a little bit of a rotation risk because of his lack of form. Perisic takes set pieces when he's playing. That makes Son a worse fantasy asset. Richarlison and Kulusevski to fit into that attack as well. We could see Son rested at some point soon. So for that reason, I would go Kane all day long. The only problem is if, you've got Haaland and Kane, it's not as easy to get back to Salah if you sold him on wildcard and want him back down the line. Gazman says -4 Salah and Jesus to De Bruyne and Mitrovic, or to a cheaper midfielder and Kane, or just Salah to KDB. I think De Bruyne and Mitrovic is the way to go. Mitrovic is like my second favourite striker at the moment after Haaland. I think he's just a must-own. The fixtures have turned for Fulham now, and you've seen what he was capable of with dodgy fixtures. So now the fixtures are good, he's just going to come alive. And, everyone's got Haaland, and most people are captaining him every week as well. So I like going with De Bruyne as well as a bit of a differential, because if Man City perform really well and you've got both of them and Haaland captain, you're more likely to see a green arrow. Random Junkie, need a defender for 4.1 million and less for game weeks 8 and 12. Which one? I mean, you'll be lucky to find any. Yeah, Neco Williams is still 4.1, isn't he? Fulham and Brighton. He's the one to go for. I mean, Emerson, as I've mentioned, has Liverpool, I think, in game week 12. Away as well, so you're probably not going to want to start him. Hang on, let's get this full going. You said 4.1, didn't you? Just looking through for a bit of inspiration. There isn't really anyone else that's getting minutes other than Patterson. Well, I don't even know where Patterson is in this list. Where has he gone? There's that. Look, I must scroll past him. So, West Ham game week 8, Newcastle game week 12. I think Neco Williams is way more attacking. I'll just have a look on the Hub points prediction tool. So we're looking up to 4.1 million. So this week, Neco Williams and then Patterson, and that's about it. And then if we look at game week 12, Patterson's above Neco Williams. So I think, you know, Patterson could be an option, but with Pickford injured at the moment, I think you just go Neco Williams. Thank you for your question though, Gazman. MD Alamin, Bailey start. Does that mean, do you start Bailey in your squad or does he start tonight? I think he'll start. I don't see why not. He started both of the last 2 games. He's got a goal and an assist. I think Steven Gerrard does like him. I think what we saw in pre-season kind of has come to fruition now. So I think you can back him. Sorry, my water bottle's really squeaky there, guys. Need to get used to that. When will wildcards reset? So you get a wildcard to use up until game week 16, then you get another wildcard to use after during the World Cup break. Well, it's not a wildcard, it's unlimited transfers, so there won't be any price rises, and then you get a wildcard to use from game week 17 onwards. Gary, saving a wild card this week, thinking of doing a -4 for Trippier, or else I have to start De Silva. Yeah, De Silva, to be fair, I've not been keeping track on him. Is he still getting minutes? Some minutes as a sub. I mean, De Silva's going to get you 1 point. So do you think that Trippier is going to get 5 or more points? I think, given his route to points, even just this week, I think given his route to points, he can easily get more than 5 points. Bournemouth at home, if he doesn't get a clean sheet, then he's probably going to get some attacking returns. So I think that could work, Gary, but just don't rule out the wild card this week. I know it's getting a bit late in the day now, but certainly something to consider. Kana says, hello Holly, worth the punt on Salah for Son, can't KDB as I already have 3 citizens. I'm really not feeling the Son punt now. You know, I could be completely wrong here, but Spurs aren't looking that great attacking wise, and Son is certainly not looking great either, so we could get some rotation soon. So that for me is why I probably wouldn't take the punt. The midfield is really hard at the moment because not that many players that, you know, you really want to have. Niraj said, had a nice holiday. Thank you, Niraj. Not going anywhere too exciting. Just going to the South Coast to my sisters and then on a little summer holiday break, although it's turning a bit autumnal in the UK now. United Gaio, Perisic and Foden and Paqueta. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Or Kufal, Zaha and Maddison. I think Kufal, Zaha, Maddison screams consistency. You kind of know what you're going to get from that trio, so that would be the one I'd go with. Meresh has mentioned Lucas Dean. Now, I think the reason Lucas Dean is on a few radars is the fact that Aston Villa have got good fixtures. But just look at this. I've just looked him up, right? He's got 5 points in the first 6 game weeks. 2 yellow cards, 1 own goal, no attacking returns, no clean sheet. So it is grim reading. And remember, they've played Bournemouth, Everton and Crystal Palace in that time. So, you know, a few good fixtures. Obviously, the fixtures look attractive in the short term and he is involved in set pieces, but it is a punt. It is a punt. A question about John Stones. Will he play? It's risky. I mean, we always have to worry about Pep Roulette anyway. I've seen Laporte is back in training. I don't know. Let's have a look who started in the Champions League this midweek. Did Stones start? Where is it here? Look. He got the goal, didn't he? Ah, yeah, he played right back. Did he play right back or did Akanji play? I only saw the end of the game and I wasn't really focused on the defence. It's a risk with John Stones. Always going to be a risk because Pep rotates and, you know, he's basically got a fully fit squad now. Laporte is still red flagged, but I expect that to change once Pep's had his press conference today. So there's only Kyle Walker was the only one unavailable for the Champions League midweek. So, you know, got a lot of competition for places there. Diaz, Stones, Ake, Laporte. So I think I would avoid Stones. Mudez says Tony or Isaac. Well, I've gone with Tony on wildcard, so that tells you what I think about Tony. If we compare them, I think the reason I like Tony is that he is the talisman of that Brentford squad. Isaac hasn't been at Newcastle very long, and even though he's got plenty of potential, Callum Wilson's there. So Tony offers a bit more of the all-round performances. Isaac's more of a goal threat, but then you add into the fact that Tony's on penalties. We don't know about the situation at Newcastle. Wilson's on penalties if he starts, I think. That's what we believe at the moment. That just gives Tony the edge. The fixtures are probably better for Newcastle. Let's see what the points prediction says for forwards. Let's look over the next 4 game weeks. That is not good. Look how far further down we need to scroll for Isaac over Tony. Brentford's fixtures are tough, I will be honest, but I just like what Tony can bring. Random Junkie says injuries to St Maximin and Rashford have messed up your wildcard team. I feel you. It's so frustrating, especially when you've got the likes of those injuries that you've got to deal with. It doesn't make it very straightforward, and there's not that many great options in the midfield now, as I mentioned already. Nikesh says -8 to bring in Kevin De Bruyne, Salah out. If you've already used your wild card, Nikesh, and you want De Bruyne long term, I think the -8 is fine. I think those people that have if you've still got your wild card left, I wouldn't advocate taking a big hit this week and saving the wild card. If you only need a -4, then there's probably an argument to keeping the wild card. But if you've already used your wild card and you need to take a -8 to get a full team out, but you're selling players that you don't want in the short term and bringing those in that you do, I think that's absolutely fine. Nick, if you want your full team rating, check out the link in the description. It takes you to my Rate My Team service, but I can't go through a full Rate My Team here, I'm afraid. Next question, Darren. Isaac v Tony. Just done that one, Darren, so hopefully that helped you. Kesh says, have you set the plan to bring back Liverpool assets by game week 11? No. It's a short answer. I mean, the thing is, things can change so quickly in FPL. It's kind of like game week 12 when Liverpool play West Ham at home. They've got West Ham, Forest, Leeds, Spurs and Southampton as their final 5 fixtures before the World Cup break. Obviously, over the next 4, I'm not really interested in owning them. Blank, Brighton, Arsenal, Man City. I will want to get them back, but I'm tripled up on Man City who obviously blank in game week 12. But the problem is, even though they're blank in game week 12, the fixtures beyond game week 12 are still nice, so I probably still want to just bench them. But, you know, lots can change. I mean, I could get rid of De Bruyne and I could bring in someone like Diaz and upgrade a defender to Trent if I wanted to. You can't really make plans in FPL for 4 game weeks' time. Look at all the chaos that we've seen so far this season. This was meant to be the first season without an asterisk for a while, and it's just been carnage. Alif says, I can do a -8 to not wildcard. What do you think? I'd just wildcard. Ethan, would you start Andreas or Alan St. Maximin? I think St. Maximin's probably injured, but I think he'll probably either play or play 0 minutes. So I think you can start him. And then if he doesn't play, then Andreas will come in. Alfie said, would you start Maddison or Andreas this week? That's a tough one. I think I would probably start Andreas though. Oh, Mika. Oh, Micah. Thank you. I'll get the pronunciation right now. Thank you for that. M. Gill, would you start Maddison or Bailey? I don't know. It's hard to bench Maddison, isn't it? What I'm going to just have a quick look at, because I do like the stats, is how that Spurs defence have performed over the opening game weeks of the season. So in terms of shots conceded on goal, it's quite high actually. But then in terms of big chances, Spurs have conceded the fewest big chances. So, you know, I'm going to talk myself out of even having Maddison in wildcard at this rate on this one. But at the stage that Leicester are at the moment in terms of not looking very good, Brendan Rodgers potentially going to be out of the door soon, and how good Spurs have been defensively, I think it's going to be a tall order for Leicester to score. But if anyone can score from Leicester, Maddison would probably be the one. Has got a couple of attacking returns this season, 3 attacking returns in 6 games, and Leicester have been shocking. So hang on, I'm losing my place in the chat now, guys. I'm meant to be getting better at this. Niraj, thoughts on Martinelli Saka for the midfield double up? I don't like Arsenal's fixtures. I know they've been very good from an attacking perspective. You can't deny that. 14 goals in 6 games. But then you look at the fixtures, that Brentford game isn't as easy as it looks, and then it's Spurs and Liverpool after that, Leeds and then a blank. That's where my issue is with the double up. To be fair, Saka has looked a lot better. The trouble is he's still a lot more expensive than Martinelli, but I probably wouldn't go for it on wildcard. Mehdi says double Newcastle attack or double Newcastle defence. Double defence any day. I think they're very consistent defensively, bit more hit and miss from an attacking perspective. And if you get someone like Trippier, you're kind of on double attack and double defence with him anyway. Shamsu, I have Walker who is injured, Ward as a keeper. Should I -4 to get a good keeper or just replace Walker? I think I'd probably just replace Walker in that case. Chloe, Kane and Gordon and 0.6 in the bank, or Isaac and Son and nothing in the bank. Kane and Gordon. Pete, Holly, do you think Son is a good 1 week punt? If so, would you make him captain over Haaland? No, don't do it. United guy, what is your route back to James? I've got the money in the bank. I can just swap Perisic out and put James in. That's the route. I could just go James this week as well and play Emerson and bench James. That's the other option. But obviously the trouble there is that, I don't know. If we get news that Perisic starts, then I feel like I need to play him. But whether we do or not before 6:30, I don't know. Surav, best defender under 5 million. It depends if you're going to plan on playing them every week or not. If it's a bench player, then, you know, Williams, Emerson, Shaw, Botman. They're the kinds of names. Let's have a look what the tool tells me. Next 4 game weeks. Defenders under 5 million. It's Aston Villa again. You're really putting on the fixtures. The algorithm likes the fixtures for Villa, obviously. You can get on a few of the Spurs defenders. Botman's in there as well. I think I'd probably go with a Newcastle defender though if I were you. Bowen or Maddison for a differential in game week 8. I've gone Maddison purely because he's got attacking returns. Bowen's done nothing so far this season. No goals, no assists. So that's my thoughts on that one. If you are in here, by the way, thank you for joining. Please give the stream a like if you can, please. It'll just help me to get this out to as many people as possible. Next question then. Who do you think I should start, Andreas or Saint Matt? I've answered that one. Idrissa says Kufal or Emerson. I mean, Kufal's probably a bit more nailed on, but, you know, he hasn't been particularly in favour with David Moyes over recent seasons. We've seen Ben Johnson play that position at times. So I know Johnson's injured at the moment, but I still think that, you know, Emerson, even though he's the unknown quantity, is probably the safer pick. If you speak to West Ham fans, they love Emerson, and I think he's going to be, you know, long term their player. Jamie says, do I not fancy Bailey as a cheap option? Yeah. I mean, this is the other thing I could do. I could just not have Zaha or not have Maddison and get Bailey instead. I feel a little bit of an attachment to Bailey because I've had him all season. Obviously, he's gone off on the wildcard drafts, but, you know, he could still come back in. And then I could just play Bailey this week. And then I could move to Zaha if I wanted. It gives me 3 million in the bank. The fixtures are nice as well, aren't they? Maybe it's something that I need to consider. It's a tough one. This wildcard is doing my head in this time. I normally love wildcard season. I think just because of all the disruption we've had, it's been a bit annoying. Jazz, thank you so much for the super chat. Foden or Bowen for the long run. Already got Maddison and Zaha, opted for Kane instead of KDB, and I was wondering if a third City player is essential. Thank you. To be honest, Jazz, I would triple up on Man City, but I would go with Cancelo. You know, he's got 2 attacking returns so far this season, 3 clean sheets. He's got bonus points on 2 occasions, including one time where he got a yellow card. He's wears the number 7 shirt as well, so I feel like he tripled up on the Man City attack. So, you know, certainly Wolves, Southampton, I think they could be shoo-ins for clean sheets. I guess Manchester United and Liverpool, you're kind of hoping a bit more for attacking returns from him, but he kind of averages an attacking return maybe every like 2 or 3 games. So that's why I would lean towards Cancelo, because I think he was like the first defender on Wildcard. I mean, I can see the appeal of going with a Man City triple up in attack, and I do think we're going to see that combination of Foden to Haaland a lot this season. He has got 4 attacking returns. I think, you know, Pep's kind of educated him on how to play with Haaland, so I think we will see minutes from him, and I think it's important that Man City had that rest last weekend. I also like Bernardo and Gundogan as well, though. Particularly Bernardo Silva's looked really good since he cemented his time at Man City. Gundogan's a bit more hit and miss in terms of when he's going to start, but, you know, there's certainly legs in tripling up on the attack. I don't know whether Foden would be the one that I'd go with or not. Probably because he kind of would need to, because you know he's going to play in the front three rather than in the midfield three. So I don't hate it. But I prefer Cancelo in a City triple up. And the other thing to bear in mind as well is that, you know, you could leave funds in the bank in midfield by going with a cheaper midfielder as well. But thank you so much for the super chat, Jazz. That is really appreciated. I've lost where I was in the chat now then, because I am trying to get through as many of these as possible. Keep the questions coming. I am going to be here for another 30 minutes, guys. And remember to vote in the poll and like the stream as well. It just helps to get this out to as many people as possible. I think I was with... Oh, Tokolo said I would stay away from Lucas Dean, and I'm kind of in agreement with you there, Tokolo. I think, and this is the issue that I've had with backing Jared Bowen as well. Yes, you can back fixtures at times, but I am very much a form manager. It's form over fixtures all the time for me. And the thing that we've got to think about in there is you can't just back players that have got no form. They've got to offer you something in there. That's my opinion on that one. Let me just put my wildcard team back on the screen for you guys, because I'm sure a lot of you are tuning in just to see that. So it would be good to have it there. Kevin says thoughts on Coutinho as the fixtures look good. Going to go on the wrong screen now, aren't you? I say you're not going to see it anyway. Yeah, I'm just not loving it. He's not... I don't feel like he's done anything all season, Coutinho. He's been subbed off quite a few times, a few sub appearances. There you go, look. He's not played 90 minutes yet this season. He was really good, wasn't he, when he first arrived at Aston Villa, but then went off the boil. I was really surprised when they bought him anyway. But yeah, I wouldn't go there. Ahmed said, is it likely that Trent and Salah will rise before game week 12? It depends how well they play. I think that's the deciding factor there. But I don't think it's very easy to plan transfers 5 game weeks in advance anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about it if I were you. United Go, start 2 of Maddison, Andreas or Kufal. I think I'd go Andreas and Maddison. Teen says, would you rather have Bowen and Maddison, or would you pick between them? I think I would go just with Maddison. I know Bowen's fixtures are good, but the form is just not there. He's potentially on penalties, which makes him a bit more attractive. And I'm sure once he's delivered, then we're all going to be wanting to get him in their teams. But, you know, there is a bit of reluctance from me there, if I'm honest. There's over 100 of you in at the moment. Thank you so much. I'm going to try and get through as many of these questions as I can in the next 20 minutes or so. So keep them coming. Cammy, I've got Bailey as I don't have enough funds for Maddison as I fielded 3 premiums. What's your take? I think he's okay. I think he's a good compromise if you are going 3 premiums. You're going to make me jealous. Let me just try the 3 premiums again. So Tony would go for Kane to come in, and then I'd have Bailey. There's someone else, isn't it? That's the thing that makes me struggle. I'd have 6.7 million to spend on a midfielder. Let's have a look and see what the tool says. You see, it's like I've got Martinelli, and then you look at this list, and quite frankly, it's awful. Bailey isn't even on it. There's just no one. I don't know what happens if you increase the budget range. Interestingly, they do have a best wildcard team as well. So Bowen's up there, as is Maddison. Zaha's a bit lower down purely because of the blank. I think if I was to extend this to game week 15, then, you know, Zaha comes shooting up. Yeah, there he is. Harvey Barnes, but, you know, he's not looked that great so far. You're just punting on players that you don't even know what to expect from. So that's where I'm struggling. I mean, someone might have better team value than me and be thinking of going with a different option and going with the 3 premiums, but that's just constantly the sticking point for me, is the fact that that third midfielder spot is just so weak. It's kind of like Leon Bailey becomes the third midfielder. I mean, I guess you could look at spending a bit more money in defence and maybe going 4-3-3, but I think 3-4-3, you know, it's been such a good formation for us in the past, and, you know, it's come to the fore again this season that I don't want to ignore it. I want to just go with it, see what happens. Let me try and get... So the Fantasy Football Hub prediction tool. I remember you can get 30% off the hub at the moment and win your mini league or your money back. Can do, if it's going to load for me, the best overall team for wildcarders. And then the best game week team. 4 premiums. I didn't even know that was possible. Willock is the enabler in there. Triple City attack. Jazz. Foden in there. Does the algorithm know best? That is the question. Damn. Got me thinking there, guys. Who can I have? Was that a 4? No, it was... It's still 3-4-3, wasn't it? I think I'm going to stick with what I've got, guys. I think I do. Frederick, Perisic or bring in Ruben Diaz? I already have Cancelo, by the way. Just go Perisic. Don't mind Reece James either if you've not got him, or Trippier. What about Almiron in a 1 game week punt? Don't mind that at all. Go for it. Peter is looking to transfer out one of Salah, Diaz, Harrison and Veltman. Not looking to wildcard until game week 9. Happy to take a hit if needed. Who to transfer in? Salah to De Bruyne. It's an easy one. Such an easy move. Jared says Kane and Foden or KDB and Tony. I've got KDB and Tony in my team. I can see the argument for Kane and Foden. Maybe I should try it. Just try it on for size. It's just Kane this week, right? If you haven't seen the stats for Kane against Leicester, he scored more career goals against Leicester than any other club. He spent some time on loan there earlier in his career. Fixtures are just a bit patchy beyond that, though. Yeah, I can afford him, look. Are they the exact same money? Kane and Foden v KDB and Tony cost the exact same. I would love to own Kane this week. This is my sticking point. I really want Kane this week, but long term, I know De Bruyne's a better option. Decisions. You guys are messing with my head today. Putting me off. I don't mind now. I'm only joking. Sorry guys, I've lost my place in the chat now. I keep doing that. Keep scrolling up. I'm going to try and speed up a little bit. I'll be honest, guys, I don't think I'm going to get through all the questions, but I'm going to keep trying. There's 177 of you in here, so thank you so much. Hit that like button if you are here as well. Tarbo, I activated my wildcard on Freemium. Very jealous. Is Paqueta a good pick, or are there better options? I've not seen West Ham play yet this season, so if I'm honest, I don't know a lot about him. And it's not been an easy couple of fixtures, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. You're going to have to do your own research on that one, because I don't feel like I'm in a place to say, because I've not actually seen him play. Cavish, St. Maximin, Almiron v Bailey and Gordon for a 2-week punt or any other cheap mid. I'm struggling with that position. Almiron and Bailey are probably the ones of most interest to me. Andy's asked me as well. Thanks, Andy, for joining. See your little membership icon come up there, Almiron or Bailey, while we're on the topic. I mean, you've laughed oh no, you haven't laughed after it, so it's someone else ahead of you. Almiron or Bailey, where are we going to? I do like Bailey. I think I would go... Just for me, Almiron's just so uninspiring. I feel like Bailey, because he's a little bit more unknown, you've got a little bit of hope that it can, deliver something really good. Whereas you kind of know what Almiron delivers, which is about 4 goals a season, if you're lucky. So, the fixtures are very comparable. Let me just... we'll check the fixtures. For attacking teams, let's look at the next 4 game weeks. West Ham first, Newcastle second. Villa are actually in 6th. There's not a lot in it though, guys. I'm still going to say Bailey. The Almiron punt for a week is fine, but, long term I just can't see it paying off. Libra, if Daka plays ahead of Vardy this week, do you think he may be worth a punt from game week 9 when Leicester's fixtures get a lot better? Yeah, potentially. Forest, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Leeds, Wolves. This is why Maddison is in my wildcard team. It's just Spurs away this week. It's just a pain for Leicester assets if you're on a wildcard and back them this week. This is probably why I should have waited a week. But, I'm going to enjoy that week off next week. Water, in 4.4 price range, which defender is good for game week 8 and 12? What do you think about Botman? Yeah, I don't think the double Newcastle defence is fine. I've seen some managers go triple, which, I don't hate. It's a little bit scarier, but that is fine. Neco Williams also looks fine as well. It's just the West Ham assets, it's not as great, is it? By the time you get to game week 12. Let's have a look at... Yeah, Newcastle are top. You see, you're not going to get 2 great fixtures out of some of these other options. Fulham. Can we recommend Fulham defenders? Felt a little bit sick there. I don't think we can. Sam is in. Hi, Sam. Thank you for joining us today. I've got Gundogan and Kulusevski. Do you think it's worth taking a -4 to add Bailey to the bench? If you've already played your wild card, then I think that's a fine move. I think Kulusevski will play. I don't think he played in the Champions League, so he's certainly going to be due a start. Chuck has said Isaac v Tony for game week 8. If it's just for 1 game week, I think Isaac, but I think longer term I prefer Tony. But yeah, it's fine to triple up on Newcastle options. Hamza, Kane and Bowen or Son and Mitrovic? Can I say De Bruyne and Mitrovic? If you can afford that, that's where I would go. And Mohammed has asked, any plans for getting James in the future? Yes, I have the money in the bank. I could go with James on wildcard if it looks like Perisic isn't going to start. But whether we get any news before 6:30, I don't know. Hachibi's just said in the chat, Perisic not going to start. Give me some firm news. I need to keep an eye on press conferences this afternoon. Are you in the know, Hachibi? Let me know. Matthew said Haaland is my favourite player. I think he's everyone's favourite player. He's just won Player of the Month for August, and you can see why. 10 goals in his first 6 games. He's only at 68% on the captain poll though. 352 of you have voted in that, so thank you so much if you have. If you haven't already, go and vote now. Don't forget to like the stream as well. Fun guy. You a fun guy? Captain KDB, Quattrick v Wolves last season. Yeah, I don't think I'd captain De Bruyne because I feel like Last season, he played that false nine role quite a bit and he absolutely undid Wolves. A phenomenal performance. But I think with Haaland as the focal point in that Man City attack, it does change the output of the other players. And, you know, De Bruyne has very much been the assist man this season. Has he got a goal? Yeah, he's got 1 goal, 4 assists. I think De Bruyne outscored Haaland in game week 2 against Bournemouth at home. But other than that, Haaland's outscored him every single game week. Truck says Henderson v Pope. Pope. 3 goals. Not 3 goals. Going mad. 3 clean sheets in 6 games for Pope. That's the thing that's been really impressive. Top for saves. Top for save percentage. Great fixtures. It's an easy one. I think if you're only wanting to spend 4.5, Henderson maybe 4.6. But if you're really tight on funds, then maybe Henderson. But you know, the last few seasons we've just had a goalkeeper that's kind of a must own, and in terms of right now, I think Pope could be one of those that just goes off and is the player that everyone wants to own and is gonna, you know, turn up with 8s every week for you because he's getting the bonus points as well. And like we saw it last season with Ramsdale, maybe Martinez the season before, Pope possibly the season before that, I can't remember. They do all blend into one after a while, but you know, if you miss that form goalkeeper and one really emerges, then you end up missing out. There's 200 of you in now. Thanks so much, guys. I'm going to be about for another 15 minutes, so keep the questions coming. I'll try and speed up a bit to get a few more answered. Hit that like button now. If we've got 200 of you in at the moment, why is there not 200 likes? United Guy, are we getting Spurs news from Paul O'Keefe this week? Yeah, I think he is the account to look at on Twitter. Shamsu, good replacement for Walker. Dean or a Southampton player? Really unattractive, both of them, I'm afraid. Random Junkie, if you want a full Rate My Team, check out the link in the comments. Luvo, Mitrovic for captain this game week. I mean, he's in my captain poll. We haven't talked about captains yet, have we, guys? Let me just hop over to Twitter. It's probably going to be the quickest way of doing this now because I did post earlier. Here we go, look. My top 3. That's not clicked on the right thing. Try again. My top 3 captain picks this week. I was quite proud of this graphic. Have tried to up my game in terms of graphics this season. So Haaland, obviously number 1 pick for captaincy this week, given his goal scoring form. Second, I put Harry Kane because he's got 5 goals in 6 games this season and has missed a penalty, so should have really got 6 in 6. And his form against Leicester is ridiculous. I think he's scored in all of the last 6 meetings between them. And he's got something like 16 goals in 14 Premier League games. So I might not be exactly right. A few assists in there as well. But, you know, Leicester are one of his favourite opponents. And it is a thing when you get to attackers, especially for Kane, where there's a bit of a history there with Leicester to think about. And then Mitrovic, 6 goals in 6 games. And he's missed a penalty as well. Forest away, a great fixture for attackers. So, you know, some good options in there. Haaland is winning the poll at the moment. Kane is currently second on 22%. Mitrovic 6%. The sticking point for me, and it's going to be like this all season now, I'm afraid, is if you don't go with Haaland and Haaland scores a hat-trick, you're going to be getting a red arrow. That is the difficulty there with captaincy. So you'd be a braver person than me if you go for it. Ajwath is in. Thank you for joining. Is Perisic a good player to go for this week? I don't know if he'll start or not. This is the $1 million question. This is what we want to know. Will Perisic start? I'm still tempted to just get Reece James because it's probably a move I'm going to make in the next few weeks anyway, and I've got the funds there. We need some news. Whether we get it or not, because Spurs don't kick off until 5:30 tomorrow. I don't think we'll get news, but we can hope. Crushella's asked, will Emerson start? Yeah, he certainly looks in favour at West Ham. He wouldn't be in my wildcard team if I had any doubts. We saw 5 at the back in the not the Champions League, in the Europa League this midweek, and it was Emerson played wing back, left wing back. Creswell played left centre back. Creswell's had a bit of an injury. Emerson is the future on that position. Hashem, Foden or Bowen as a placeholder for Zaha for 2 to 3 game weeks. I mean, I don't hate it, but I just don't like booking in transfers. Foden could work, but I do wonder why you're not tripled up on Man City already. Matthew said Haaland is my boy. You're turning it into just like the Haaland stream. Ravi says you like Maddison over Bowen. Yes, I do. That would be my preference. I think I've already talked about Tony v Isaac. I like Botman. George says I'm considering Bernardo on my wildcard. Thoughts? Yeah, I like Bernardo. I like Gundogan. I like Foden. I just prefer Kevin De Bruyne. But, you know, there is a good argument for Bernardo as a punt, potentially. You're just looking, there isn't that many midfielders, so that's why it kind of makes sense to take that risk sometimes. Marcus says, do you recommend Kane, Haaland, KDB, Mitrovic in a wildcard team? It allows for Salah transition in future. Yeah, I'd love to go with that myself, but because my team value is so poor, it's just a bit too tricky to get Kane in. Emerson is definitely one to go with on a wild card. Viking, why not Kane and KDB in the same team and maybe play Gordon? You're going to make me look at it again. I just don't see the attraction to Gordon. This is the sticking point. So it'd be Kane, probably Bailey, let's be honest. Two goals. 5.5 million. He's not playing up front though, is he? He's kind of playing as a winger. So he's not out of position. Fixtures are okay. It's just Pickford is huge for Everton. And without him, it weakens the whole team. I just don't love it. Like that midfield just looks awful. Defence is fine, attack looks great. I don't think it's worth the compromise on team balance and, you know, the inflexibility. Because I am going to want Liverpool assets probably at some point. Lost my place in the chat now, guys. Nightmare. Oh, here we go. Ricky said, I've already wildcarded, so I'm about to pull the trigger on free hit. Disastrous decision. The trouble is with the free hit is, you know, there's going to be mass disruption later in the season in terms of blank game weeks, double game weeks that are going to be very difficult to navigate. Whereas if you are struggling on, it's like the fixtures aren't that standout this week in terms of who to really target. And when you're thinking about that free hit as well, it may be that some of the moves, transfers that you want to make this week are players that you'd want long term anyway. So it's perfectly fine now to be jumping off Liverpool players and Arsenal players, bringing in Spurs players, Man City players. So if you can do that anyway with free transfers, you're strengthening your team in the long term, whereas you'll still have some of the same problems next week anyway. Ajwath says, who is better out of Son and De Bruyne? De Bruyne for me. Karen says, is Trippier a peer pressure pick? Or can he actually provide returns? Right, he's probably played about 12 games for Newcastle this calendar year and he's already scored 3 direct free kicks. He's on corners. He's on set pieces. He's picking up bonus points. just when he keeps a clean sheet. The fixtures are great over the next 5. So people are buying him because he is a really good pick. Ethan says, what are my top 3 teams that you think are in the best form right now? Man City. Form. Newcastle. Newcastle are unbeaten, aren't they? Oh, Liverpool beat them. Spurs. See, Arsenal's form we're going to see dwindle. Brighton. I mean, Manchester United, they're blank this week, so it's not as easy. Brighton have just lost their manager, so again, it's not as easy. Nick has said it's Kulusevski and still an option from Spurs. For this week, as a 1-week punt, he's fine, but longer term, I think there's too much competition for spaces between Son, Richarlison and Kulusevski for the 2 places flanking Kane. Yeah, Random Junkie, I do like this. Feel like Kane doesn't offer enough compared to Tony to spend a whole 4.2 million more. I've got to kind of agree with you there. You know, just look at, in terms of forwards and points scored this season, Tony has outscored Kane. And Kane's been in good form. And he's 4.2 million cheaper. To be honest, I don't see my wildcard changing that much from here, guys. If you have got any final questions, by the way, do get them in. Anyone got any super chats, then I will make sure I get them done. But in terms of my wildcard team now, I don't think it's going to change. The only thing, I can't go with the 3 premiums. It just makes everything too imbalanced for my team with the team value. 100.3. Shocking. And I like Maddison long term. I like Zaha long term. Tony's outscoring Kane. The only thing that could change between now and the deadline is that I go with Reece James over Perisic, and I will be scouting out to see whether there is any information on Twitter close to the deadline, and I will obviously publish my final team probably over on TikTok, and TikTok I'm at Holly_Shand, and then on Instagram and Twitter I'm at Holly Shand. But let's just have a look back on the poll. Haaland, the clear favourite on the captain poll. Kane is also very popular though because of his record against Leicester. So that's something that we do need to think about. He is definitely going to be an option. But I think this is going to be it. My wildcard team for game week 8. I know it's been I missed a week with the live streams, but you know, probably not going to do a live stream next Friday with it being the international break unless, you know, there's a lot of significant stuff going on, which things tend to die down a bit over the international break. But I am really grateful to everyone that has joined today, that's asked questions, that's given the stream a like as well. All of your support on the channel has been phenomenal recently. You know, the numbers that I'm seeing on my uploads and stuff, I'm really thrilled with, and it helps me, you know, to be able to put more content out for you guys when we see all that's going on the streams and the videos and all the comments and everything. It really does mean the world to me. I am going to leave it there then. I am on holiday next week, so probably not going to be about as much as normal, but obviously I'll be back in 2 weeks' time ahead of game week 9. It's going to be exciting to get into the second quarter of the season before we get to the World Cup break. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Do get in touch if you've got any other dilemmas that you need help with by commenting at the end of this video, and I'll try and reply to some of them. Oscar has said smashing it. Thank you, Oscar. Really appreciate that from you. It means a lot. Good luck everyone for FPL Game Week 8. Wish me luck on my wildcard as well, as particularly anyone else on a wildcard. I hope it goes really, really well for you this week, especially those that have gone with Haaland and maybe haven't got Kane, because I've not got Kane myself. I'll let you know if I make that move from Perisic to Reece James as well. still in my mind. I'm going to have to sit down and have a little bit of time out, calm down from the stream, have a little think. But obviously, as I said, I will be posting my final team over on all my socials for you to keep an eye on. So thank you everyone so much, and I'll be back very soon with another video. Good luck for FPL Game Week 8.